Have you ever felt like you're not being respected? Like people don't really listen to you, or even worse, they ignore your ideas, leaving you with a sense that maybe you don't truly matter. Perhaps you've experienced moments when friends, family, or colleagues seem to overlook what you say, as if your voice is lost in the crowd. It's painful, isn't it? Because deep down, every one of us has a need for respect and validation, a need for people to see us, hear us, and acknowledge our worth. But what if I told you this experience of feeling unvalued, as painful as it may be, could be an opportunity? What if I said that instead of defining our worth by others' opinions, we can rise above it, grounded in our values, unshaken by external judgments? This, my friends, is where the philosophy of Stoicism offers us powerful wisdom. Stoicism teaches us that our desire for respect, though very human, is something we often let others control. Think about it. When we feel disrespected, we allow someone else's actions, their dismissiveness or lack of acknowledgement, to shape our own feelings. Stoicism urges us to take a step back and recognize that our worth doesn't actually lie in others' opinions. Rather, our worth lies in our actions, our values, and how we carry ourselves. A Stoic would ask, why are you giving others the power to dictate your sense of self-worth? Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, reminded us that we don't control the actions of others. What we can control is how we respond. When we see ourselves from this vantage point, we start to detach from others' judgments. We see ourselves not as a collection of opinions, but as a solid, steady force defined by our inner virtues. Now, it's true that genuine respect doesn't come immediately. Many people, driven by their desire to be seen, will spend years trying to prove themselves to others. They bend over backward to show kindness, generosity, or some grand act of character, all in hopes of earning others' respect. And while these qualities are good, Stoicism tells us to focus on doing them for the sake of virtue itself, not as a ticket to someone's approval. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, never pursued respect for its own sake. Instead, he lived with integrity, and respect was a natural byproduct of his character. He understood that respect is a reward, not something to be chased. The irony of respect is that it often comes not when we seek it, but when we are deeply committed to something higher, when we are steadfast in our principles, regardless of recognition. The Stoic approach is to focus on this long road, striving to be a better version of ourselves, cultivating inner strength rather than external validation. But let's face it, even with a strong foundation in Stoic principles, respect doesn't just appear out of thin air. If you want people to respect you, there are subtle ways to help them recognize your strength of character. In psychology, we call this thin slicing. The quick judgments people make based on limited information, often within the first few seconds of meeting you. Like it or not, humans are wired this way, and Stoicism isn't about ignoring reality, but about working skillfully within it. So what does this mean for us? When you walk into a room, Stoicism would say, be the embodiment of your values. Show confidence in your posture. Speak with clarity, honesty, and without exaggeration. Dress in a way that expresses care and respect for yourself. These things may seem small, but they help others see you as someone who respects themselves, and by extension, someone worthy of respect. But Stoic wisdom here reminds us, don't confuse these actions as mere tactics for getting respect. If they aren't rooted in your genuine character, they will ultimately be hollow. A true Stoic knows that real respect begins with how they regard themselves and their values. Now, let me ask you, have you ever felt that people make up their minds about you almost instantly? Maybe it's within seconds of meeting you, just a glance, a few words exchanged, and you can already sense what they're thinking. It's almost unfair, isn't it? To know that people decide, in an instant, whether they respect you or not. This isn't just imagination. Research shows that people make judgments based on what psychologists call thin slicing. Those quick assessments based on just a sliver of information. And here's where Stoicism can guide us, teaching us not only to understand this instinct, but to use it to our advantage. Now, Stoicism isn't about trying to impress others. It's about carrying yourself with confidence, humility, and authenticity. But if we want to navigate these first encounters effectively, Stoicism teaches us that the best way to win respect is to present our true selves right from the start, grounded in our principles and our values. The Stoic approach to first impressions is simple but profound. Bring your inner values to the surface. Let them show through in your demeanor, your posture, and your presence. When you walk into a room, don't let your mind race with thoughts of, how do they see me? What will they think? Instead, focus on showing up as a grounded, authentic individual, someone at peace with themselves. This is how we make a real impression, one that transcends surface-level judgments. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." In the context of first impressions, this means presenting yourself with intentionality. It means letting your actions, your presence, and even the small details communicate a sense of purpose and confidence. When you walk into a room, you aren't there to demand respect. You're there to embody it. Let's talk about something seemingly small yet impactful: attire. Stoicism, at its heart, is about simplicity, but it also values discipline and self-respect. The clothes we choose are more than fabric. They communicate how much we respect ourselves. You don't have to be dressed like a movie star, but choosing attire that reflects dignity and care tells others that you value yourself. This doesn't mean wearing the latest trends or breaking the bank. Stoicism teaches us to focus on things we can control, and we can control the choices we make about how we present ourselves. Imagine walking into a room, dressed with intention, not for flash, not to stand out, but to convey that you take yourself seriously. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, understood the power of understated dignity. In his own life, he avoided extravagant displays, choosing instead to let his actions speak. So when we take the time to dress well, we're not just looking for external validation. We're telling ourselves and others that we believe in our worth and our purpose. The Stoics remind us that true confidence doesn't mean blending in out of fear of judgment. Often, people will dress in a way that makes them invisible, afraid to stand out, worried about what others might think. But Stoicism tells us to set aside that fear. If our goal is to embody respect, we must be willing to be seen. So dress a bit sharper than required, not for vanity, but as a small, silent declaration that you respect yourself and won't hide who you are. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And in these first impressions, in our style, we can communicate the same strength and quiet self-assurance. When we choose clothing that aligns with our values, clean, neat, well-fitting, we stand out in a way that feels natural, a way that speaks for us without saying a word. So, how do we bring all of this together? By remembering that respect. True respect isn't about impressing others. It's about showing up as our best selves. It's about first impressions that reveal our values, not our ego. Through the power of presence, intentionality, and self-respect, we can let go of the need to convince others and simply be a calm, confident presence rooted in who we are. Stoicism gives us a roadmap. Arrive prepared, grounded, and intentional. In those first few moments, let your character shine through in your demeanor, your attire, and your energy. Because respect, like all things in Stoicism, begins within. It's not about manipulating how others see us, but about living so authentically and confidently that respect becomes a natural byproduct. Now, have you ever noticed that when someone truly respects themselves, it shows, even before they say a word? Maybe it's in the way they walk, how they carry themselves, or even in their smallest gestures. There's a quiet confidence about them that commands respect. And you might wonder, what's their secret? The truth is, much of it comes down to how they present themselves, how they use body language to communicate that they value themselves. Today, let's talk about this, about how Stoicism and intentional self-respect can create a powerful presence without saying a word. The Stoics teach us that self-respect isn't about trying to look impressive. It's about being comfortable and confident in who you are. It's not about demanding attention, but commanding it through authentic self-expression. By focusing on simple things, well-fitted clothing, deliberate movements, steady eye contact, we can communicate our worth clearly and calmly. Let's begin with something deceptively simple: wearing well-fitted clothing. At first, it might seem superficial, but the Stoics remind us that our outer appearance reflects our inner discipline. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that while we don't need extravagant things, we should respect ourselves enough to present ourselves well. When you wear clothes that fit well and look neat, you're sending a message to yourself and others that you value yourself. Imagine this. You're wearing an outfit that doesn't just fit physically but aligns with how you see yourself. This isn't about designer labels or expensive clothes. It's about choosing attire that mirrors your sense of dignity. Well-fitted, clean clothing shows that you care enough to take yourself seriously. Stoicism teaches that we should neither neglect nor obsess over our appearance, but rather choose to present ourselves in a way that reflects respect, both for ourselves and for those around us. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, once said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." In this context, we can think of the enemy as sloppiness, laziness, or neglect of self. Sloppiness in how we dress or carry ourselves can make us appear unsteady, and we lose respect before we even have a chance to earn it. Marcus would say, "Don't let carelessness rob you of the chance to embody respect." Taking that extra moment to adjust your collar, stand tall, or choose attire that is clean and well-maintained may seem small. But in the eyes of Stoicism, these are the little choices that show respect for yourself and reflect a commitment to your principles. When we invest care in our appearance, it tells the world that we are disciplined, that we carry ourselves with pride, and that, in turn, naturally invites respect. But respect isn't just in what we wear, it's in how we carry ourselves. Our gestures, eye contact, and even the tone of our voice play a big role in how we're perceived. The Stoics remind us that when we present ourselves authentically and confidently, we don't need to boast or exaggerate. Respect comes from a calm, steady presence. Think about how you feel when someone meets your gaze with quiet confidence, without looking away. They don't need to say, "Respect me." Their presence does it for them. Stoicism would encourage us to embody this level of calm confidence, speaking and moving with intentionality. We are, after all, not just representing ourselves but our values. So make eye contact that conveys honesty, use gestures that feel natural, and allow your voice to reflect your sincerity. Through these subtle but powerful actions, you're letting your values lead the way. Finally, let's talk about body language. The Stoics believe that everything external can be a reflection of our internal state. When we stand tall with open, grounded posture, we're not just trying to look confident. We're embodying that confidence from within. In those first moments of meeting someone, we can convey a sense of calm, steady strength by how we use our body language. Imagine entering a room with your shoulders back, your movements controlled, your gaze steady. These gestures aren't about arrogance. They're about rootedness. A Stoic knows that they don't have to make grand gestures or take up extra space to be noticed. A quiet, confident presence is often more powerful than any word spoken. Through this controlled body language, we're saying, "I am comfortable with who I am, and I'm here with purpose." So how do we bring all of this together? By realizing that our respect begins from within, and it's communicated in small, subtle ways. Well-fitted clothing, intentional eye contact, calm gestures. These are expressions of our inner respect for ourselves. They reflect the principles that Stoicism holds dear: confidence without arrogance, strength without aggression, respect without demand. Remember, self-respect is not about drawing attention to ourselves. It's about presenting ourselves in a way that says, "I know my worth." When we follow the Stoic approach, when we let our values and inner discipline lead the way, respect becomes not just something we seek, but something we naturally inspire in others. We don't need to seek approval because we carry it within us. Now, have you ever noticed the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need to prove themselves? Someone who radiates a calm strength without saying a word. Someone who, through their presence, silently commands respect. This kind of person isn't concerned with impressing others. They simply carry themselves in a way that reflects their inner discipline and self-respect. Today, I want to talk about how Stoicism teaches us to embody this kind of strength and respect, not by chasing after it, but by cultivating it within ourselves, step by step. Respect isn't a gift from others. It's a product of our character, our actions, and our inner principles. It's something we cultivate within, and when we embrace this philosophy, we naturally inspire it in others. Let's begin with something subtle yet powerful: our tone of voice. Stoicism teaches that our words, like our actions, should be calm, deliberate, and grounded in truth. When we speak, we should do so with intention, not in a rush, not in a whisper, but with a steady, clear tone that reflects confidence and clarity. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of self-control in all things, and our voice is no exception. When we speak calmly and clearly, we show that we aren't swayed by emotions, that we're in control. This doesn't mean being overly formal. It means allowing our tone to communicate our inner peace. When you speak with clarity and purpose, people naturally listen. This is how we earn respect, not by demanding attention, but by showing through our tone that we respect ourselves. Another essential part of commanding respect is the ability to stay composed under pressure. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control what others do, but we can always control our reaction. Think of a time when someone tried to provoke you, or when a situation spiraled out of your control. Stoicism would tell us that true strength lies in our ability to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. In moments of frustration, when emotions run high, a Stoic practices patience and mastery over their emotions. This doesn't mean suppressing how you feel. It means responding in a way that aligns with your values and dignity. By staying calm and controlled, we show resilience, and people around us see us as steady and reliable, someone they can respect. It is through this composure that we communicate our strength and build an unshakable respect. One of the most underrated qualities in earning respect is the ability to truly listen. Stoicism reminds us that listening is not just about hearing words. It's about understanding the person behind them. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When we practice genuine, undivided listening, we show others that we respect them, and in turn, they respect us. A Stoic listens with intent, not just to respond but to understand. This kind of listening requires patience, empathy, and an open mind. When we listen, we communicate that we value the thoughts and experiences of others. And in doing so, we build a mutual respect. Respect doesn't need grand gestures or lengthy speeches. Sometimes, the simplest way to show respect is to listen with our full attention. Another powerful Stoic principle in gaining respect is aligning words and actions. Stoics believe in integrity, doing what we say we will do, and staying true to our word. People respect consistency because it builds trust. When our actions match our words, we become reliable, a quality that Stoicism deeply values. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, taught that trust is earned through consistent, ethical actions. Think of someone you know who always follows through, someone whose words align with their behavior. We trust and respect them because they are reliable. Stoicism teaches us to be this person, to let our actions reflect our principles consistently. This integrity becomes a foundation for respect because people see that our character is unwavering, even when no one is watching. Finally, let's talk about humility and gratitude. Stoicism teaches that respect isn't something we can demand or control. It's a gift from others, something given freely when we live with honor and authenticity. The Stoics remind us to embrace humility, understanding that we're not entitled to respect. Rather, We earn it through gratitude for what we have and humility in how we live. Humility doesn't mean downplaying ourselves or shrinking. It means recognizing our strengths and weaknesses with honesty. And gratitude reminds us of the gifts and opportunities we have, allowing us to approach life with a grounded, content perspective. When we live with humility, we inspire respect, not through boastfulness, but through an unassuming strength. We attract respect by honoring ourselves and others without needing to prove anything. So, how do we wrap all of this together? By realizing that true respect isn't a product of trying to impress others. It's something that grows naturally when we live with integrity, patience, and humility. Respect is the sum of our daily choices, our calm tone of voice, our composed reactions, our attentive listening, our consistent actions, and our humility. Stoicism guides us to live in a way that naturally earns respect. It's about quiet confidence, steady composure, and a humble appreciation for the life we have. By grounding ourselves in these principles, we don't just command respect, we embody it. We live in a way that reflects inner strength and contentment, and in doing so, we inspire others to do the same. Thank you.